This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sara and I gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where Ben and I decide we don't feel like putting in the effort to play something, so we just talk over something else instead. And $2 gets you Praetorium Pals, a series where Ben, myself, Saturn, and Oates, two very good friends of the pod, sit down and we start an MSQ roulette in Final Fantasy XIV, and we talk while we do the most monotonous possible thing you can do in Final Fantasy XIV that isn't Crystal Tower. And it typically produces some of the most insane shit you've ever heard in your entire life, so it's good, I think.
It's good. It's fun.
Yeah. And also, $2 gets you the entire back catalog of That's Hell You're Walking Into, a series where Ben would ask me questions about Fate Stay Night, Fate Grand Order, and the extended Naziverse, and I would do my best to answer it. If you think that sounds like fun, head on over to patreon.com/thegorge. Kick in however much you can. We appreciate every single dollar. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So yeah, this is just a roundup.
Mm-hmm.
Catching up on the end of January.
Right. Anything
so what
fun
have you been up?
report?
Yeah, what have you been up to these past couple weeks?
It's still mostly been Fallout 76. Oops. Oh no, the live service demon. That's a demon in Chainsaw Man. The live service game demon.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's things we all fear. And I fear having my life eaten by yet another live service game. So, that's exactly what happened, too. I somehow foolishly got myself involved in playing Fallout 76. And even though the last time we talked, I was like, I don't really like it, I kept playing it.
You're still in it, is the thing.
Still in it is the thing. Something about it compels me, as they say. And I couldn't tell you what. I mean, anything is more fun with friends, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Which is part of it. But I don't know. I think there's enough interesting stuff going on with the setting of West Virginia, the various kind of plot threads that have been added over the years. I don't think any of the writing is particularly groundbreaking. Maybe as I get further along in the Raiders and Settlers stuff or the Brotherhood of Steel, maybe I'll find something good there. But right now, none of it is super, super compelling to me. I'm just having fun playing. And I didn't think anything in Fallout 4 was particularly compelling either. But Fallout 4 still had a couple of interesting plot nuggets that were the thing you latched onto and okay, this is good at least. I really can't. The thing is that Fallout 4 is so bad that it's compelling, and Fallout 76 is just fine, right?
What I've landed on is that Fallout 4 is serviceable enough that I feel I can continue the story, Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly emotionally invested in what's happening, but it's not so much of a travesty that I don't want to keep pushing forward, right?
Sure, yeah.
And it's in service of me getting settlements and doing little side quests and whatnot. And that's what I want. I'm well, I don't want to be emotionally invested in the story that I don't like, but there is enough little good points that I'm oh, that was fun.
Yeah, sure.
That was enjoyable. 76 is also, it's a little bit better than that, and it's almost to its detriment that it's better than that.
Isn't that weird? But I have the exact same feeling, yeah.
Because now I'm oh, this is almost good enough to get invested in.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there, and it's not comfortable enough for me to disregard it.
Yeah, and it's not it also isn't compellingly bad. There's a lot of stuff in Fallout 4 that is just so bad that you almost like it because of its badness, if that makes sense. I can't explain it.
Because everyone being idiots who make the worst decisions. It's the reason why the Fallout 3 plot as much as it's bad, to me is like really compelling.
Sure.
Because it's everyone being as stupid as possible.
That's correct. Yeah, everybody is morons. Everybody in Fallout 76 is like very competent, but like there are like no characters in Fallout 76 that I would say like are interesting.
There's no one that you want to invest in, like
sure.
Nick Valentine or
like Piper or any like characters like that in 70s or in like 4.
Yeah.
Who like there also aren't a lot of characters in 4, but like there's a few people who suck so much that they become compelling, right?
Yeah.
Everybody in 76 is just kind of like competent and
reasonable.
Even the Raiders.
Yeah.
Like, I was really hoping the Raiders would at least be some sickos that I could enjoy like killing, but they're really more so just like they're just more so like an organized crime gang, right?
Yeah, they're
the not
mafia.
Even like raiders. Yeah, they're the mafia.
They should have been like the Appalachian Mafia.
Sure.
And then you fight raiders.
Yeah, like there are raiders in 76. There's the Blood Eagles, and they are called out by the other raider gang as being uniquely horrible, right?
Right.
But like it's kind of the 70s. The Fallout 4 had this problem too, where like you couldn't be like really good because you were so like you didn't really have any too much control over the plot. You were just kind of a pinball kind of bouncing around.
Right.
But you couldn't really be like super evil either.
Right.
And 76 is doing the same thing, where it's like the Raiders are just kind of like nice and reasonable, you know? Like it's totally fine to side with them. They're not even like bad guys.
Not even, and like even the chance to side with the Raiders in 4 with Nuka World was like, even they were like, well, there's no redeeming them. Like,
no, they're assholes.
If you want to progress in their storyline, you have to go and kill innocent people and take over the settlements.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I didn't do that because that wasn't the kind of character I was playing.
Right.
But that is something people wanted, right?
Yeah, that's something that's still a choice you can make, because like it's like in 76, it is kind of just like it shouldn't have been the Raiders and the Settlers. It should have been the Settlers and like a mercenary group.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Like,
or
I don't know.
You make them the evil faction.
You make them the evil faction. And like, I don't know, it's just because like structurally there's so many problems with 76 that come from it starting as a bad game and becoming an okay game. Right?
It's the Final Fantasy 14 thing where it's like, oh, this bad decision is foundational and we can't fix it anymore.
Yeah, you can't, there's nothing you can do about this bad decision. But like, you know, there is an evil faction. You can join the Enclave, but like, not really. You can join the Enclave because it's part of the main plot, because the Enclave are how you get the nukes to nuke the Scorchbeast Queen. Mm-hmm. But there are, as far as I can tell, no human Enclave people to be evil with. Like, even the Brotherhood of Steel in West Virginia is just kind of incompetent. Like, they're just morons. Yeah. They're not really like, you know, they're not really like the straight up fascists that we have in Fallout 4, right?
By merit of it being an open world, like a multiplayer open world game. Mm-hmm. And this is also the kind of the 14 problem, but to a lesser extent. But you cannot change the world state.
Yeah, exactly.
In a significant way, except for when it's like a big like a patch thing or like an expansion. Because other players need to go to that same location, right?
Right, yeah.
So with Fallout 4, you could have world states change. You could nuke the Brotherhood and they're dead.
Yeah,
and they're gone.
You can nuke the fucking Institute and now it's a crater in the ground, right?
Yeah, like, you can do that. It's not much, but you can do it. And in 76, you don't get that option. So like, there's nothing you can do that, or even Fallout 3, like you can nuke Megaton.
Sure, yeah, of course.
And it's like, you can't do that in 76, so you can't really have these factions be the factions, you know?
Right.
Like, they can't do things the faction would do.
Yeah, and like, so if it's kind of like, if they can't mechanically do something to affect the world in a big way, then you would hope that you would side with them based on characters. And there are a couple of interesting characters in both factions, but nobody who's like really good and compelling, because again, the nature of Fallout 76 is that you go out and you explore either with friends or by yourself. You don't get faction companions who hang out with you and like be the vessel to endear you to that faction via like, hanging out. Like there's no Deacon to hang out with, or there's no Arcade or Veronica or anything like that, right? Like those are characters who, by hanging out with them for multiple hours and like learning their stories by unlocking basically their social links, that teaches you about the faction that they are affiliated with, and then you, as a result, maybe feel some sort of like, well, I don't want to hurt this faction because, you know, Veronica is my friend and she has complicated feelings about the Brotherhood, but she doesn't want them to die, right? So then you're like, well, maybe I don't destroy the Brotherhood for, you know, Mr. House. I let them live because I like Veronica. There's really nothing like that in 76, to as far as I can tell, and I've done a pretty decent amount of the Settlers, the Raiders, and the Brotherhood of Steel at this point, and I would not say that any of these characters are exceptionally compelling. They're like interesting characters. They're like cool concepts as characters, but like there's really nothing that's really like you really can latch onto. There's none of the faction leaders have an ounce of charisma as Mr. House, right?
Right, exactly.
But granted, part of that is the fact that House is voiced by the late great Rene Aubergenois. So how could they ever? But still, even still, Paige, the leader of the Settlers, is voiced by fucking Bo Billingsley, and like he's just a guy. He's got jet black, and he's just like a nice guy. And
he's
it's
just
like,
someone
okay.
It really does feel like a Realm Reborn, you know?
It does.
Where you're getting
absolutely.
You're getting quests from an adventure party leader or like a guild master, and they're not really a character, they're a person you get quests from.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And you know, it's early game, you know, Y'shtola, who's just like a cute cat girl that you hang out with in a mining outfit in that one part. Right. But like there's nothing super like that interesting going on. There's a few things. We joke a lot about Modus in our group chat as we play Fallout 76, but Modus is like the AI who runs the Enclave, and he's like compellingly shitty, you know, like he's like a hyper cold AI, but he's kind of got like a real degree of like, you know, being very sinister that is kind of compelling. But like even that is not a lot to go on because the Enclave quest line is pretty short as far as I can tell. Right. So like that's the other thing, is that a lot of this is Heaven's Word, this is not, right? No, like right. These expansion packs are like not, as far as I can tell, like super long. I'm sure they add new like additional content, but like none of these are like huge content drops.
And I think it's also to their detriment that they're not adding new areas, you know?
Right. I mean, you can go to like the pit and stuff like that with this most recent plot, but
it's not a map, you know? Right. It's an instance that you go to with your friends to do some stuff. It's like you know, all of the other Fallout expansions are of like leave your map, go to a smaller map that is a completely brand new area.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like we keep calling it the most mysterious Jogo. I feel like we are hurtling towards a proper Fallout 76 episode. Yeah. which is just disappointing to everybody involved, myself included. But I feel like we kind of almost have to do like a proper one at this point to really kind of express the mysterious nature of this Jogo. Yeah.
This Jogo that somehow manages to be worse because it's better.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's like, really weird.
It's such a strange feeling because there's so many things that happen in 76 that I'm just like, oh God, remember how we didn't have this in 4, and remember how this is like New Vegas. Like there are I have been able to, because I'm playing a high imp character because I want to play like a doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing like a high intelligence, high perception character. And so like I have been able to bypass multiple like additional little like, well, you're not that good at this thing I need you to do. So I need you to prove that you're good at this thing I need you to do. So go here and do this, right?
Right.
I have bypassed like several quests like that just by the nature of having an extremely high intelligence. I can use that to prove that I'm good at what they need me to be good at, right?
Right.
Like, and if you're playing like a dumb bruiser, there are checks for that. If you have a high strength, you can threaten your way out of a lot of shit too. And it's like, oh, I remember this.
Yeah.
Why didn't Fallout 4 have this? And like, all of that is so compelling, and like that on paper is really good, right?
Right.
But like, it's not in service to anything I particularly care about.
Yeah, I'm not invested enough in making these decisions for the sake of character or for the sake of changing the state of my environment.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because it's an MMO and that it's limited by those aspects of it. If it's not, since it's not, the only one we have to compare it to is 14, which is gigantic, and it has had 10 years of backstory.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Get caught up to this point.
Yeah, and like 14, 14 is, the nature of that beast is just so different, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was never any, like you said, it's almost worse by being better, because at least in like 14's case, like your dialogue choices don't fucking matter. And we all know that.
They exist entirely for role playing because you get emotionally attached to your Warrior of Light.
Right. They're just for flavor. And like, you're like, okay, that's cool. And you kind of make peace with that you really don't have like a lot of sway in what actually happens in the story. Right. And you're cool with that. It's almost worse then that Fallout 76 has these checks that you can pass, because it feels like you should be able to do more.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, you're still super limited by the
And I really wonder, like, if we go back and play New Vegas, is it going to be like that for New Vegas too, where we're like, oh, we didn't actually get as many checks as I thought we did.
Right. Like,
did we, with us, inundating ourselves with 4 so much, like, did we ruin good Fallouts?
No, because I remember good Fallouts, and like the ability to have like noticeable change on your environment, just by the nature of who you're doing the final fight with,
Right.
Like, those world states can change. You can change who's in charge of places, and there's still just a general sense of having at least that little bit more control. And it's just weird that 76 has that stuff, but you're really not affecting anything other than like being able to skip a leg of a quest line. Right? And it's just strange. And I mean, it still has all the old problems too, like that I was complaining about the last time we talked about this. Everything is still way too spongy, so much of the game's stability is based on how many people are in a server with you, in a bad way. Yeah. So like, if you have a ton of people in a server with you and it's really, really busy, you are going to have problems. And it's like, oh no. So like, there's a lot of mechanical problems. It's just a mysterious Jogo.
Yeah.
It truly is the most mysterious of all the Jogos I've ever played. I'm going to keep playing it. I want to keep kind of picking at it.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Seeing if there's something in there. But I think the biggest tell, it goes, I was joking a few weeks ago about how like normal people don't write fan fiction, right?
Right.
But I do truly think the biggest tell for like what 76 is and how deep it is, or I suppose in this case isn't, is the fact that there is nothing in the Fallout 76 tag on Tumblr. Whereas the Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 tags on Tumblr are still extremely active, even years later.
I think it's different between 76 and Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's way more of an investment to playing 76 than there is for Avatar.
And yet it feels like it's not a dead game. 76 is not a dead game by any means.
We get populated servers all the time.
Absolutely. You pop into a server and, the servers can only hold 20-something people max, I think.
And we regularly are like, we got to find a new server because so-and-so can't get in.
Right, because, you're in a full server. So, this is not a dead game, and yet nobody talks about it, right? I never hear anybody talk about it. There doesn't seem to be any kind of interest in it. Again, compared to the fucking fan art generating machine that is Final Fantasy XIV, right?
Right.
It's just it's very pretty and very fun to play and just goof off with your friends in, but it's also extremely shallow, is ultimately what I think it boils down to. Yeah. It might actually be, in a lot of ways, more shallow than Fallout 4, which is saying something.
I'm playing it and I'm trying to find what the fun is.
Sure.
Where is... I'm enjoying what I'm playing.
Yeah, but it's because,
But I'm like, where is the part where I'm gonna get hooked?
Right.
I could just bail on it right now. I have no compulsion to finish the story.
Absolutely, yeah. If your friends stopped playing it tomorrow,
yeah,
you also would stop playing.
Yeah, I would not feel compelled to try to convince them to stick with it.
Right. It's not Final Fantasy XIV where it's sometimes it kind of cheeses you off and you want to quit, but it's there's still enough interesting shit going on that I'm going to stick with it. And yeah, I think if the fact that, my friends are still playing it routinely is kind of why I'm playing it. But I think if they stopped, I would just go back to Fallout 4.
Yeah, and it is also very easy to get into.
Sure, it's super easy to get into.
It's very easy to start the game up and play it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is a big help for it.
Mm-hmm. It's super easy. I will, to its credit, it's easy to make alts.
Yeah.
Because once you unlock... Legendary perks are account-wide. So if legendary perks are super special perks that you can only get from level 50 and then every 25 levels after that. Until level 300, I think. Don't quote me on that. But you get these perks, and so you can start a new character and already pick the perk that gives you 2 extra strength, or already pick the perk that gives you +3 to lock picking, right? Mm-hmm. Which totally changes the tone of the game. So it's easy to start new characters and kind of piddle around that way. And that's fun. That's interesting. I don't think, again, we have to retract our statements about it being a bad game. I suppose that we don't have to retract them because at the time it was a bad game.
Right.
And I don't think Fallout 76 is a bad game anymore. I just think it commits the cardinal sin of being fine.
Yeah, being okay. It's okay.
It's fine. Better a 2 than a 5.
Right, exactly.
It's just fine. It's a perfectly acceptable live service game. It's a Borderlands or a Destiny-like because it's about collecting guns and
What's the Akewood quote where Ray realizes he's not an ass man anymore? He's he looks at someone's ass and he's like, I feel like I'm looking at a perfectly good car I just sold to someone.
There's a title card for the episode. That's totally what it is. It's fine. If you want to play a Destiny-like or a Borderlands-like that has a Fallout skin attached to it, I
play this more than once on several occasions when the 4 of us have been doing a thing in the game together, an event or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, God, I want to play Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah. Absolutely. I totally get it. Yeah.
Or I think, I can't wait until Transformers Reactivate comes out.
I cannot wait until because what if it's good though?
What if it is just like squad-based missions where you and your buddies get together and shoot a bunch of enemies?
That sounds like fun to me. And the thing is, and again, this is rehashing what we said last week, 76 does give me hope for Starfield.
Yeah.
Like, 76 seems like it's like, okay, well, they clearly took all of the criticism from Fallout 4. Like, they took it to heart and actually applied it to these DLCs for 76 going forward. So there's some interesting stuff here. I just think it needs to be in a single player setting to actually be compelling, right?
Right.
So, we'll see. Hopefully Starfield actually comes out this year and not early 2024. Microsoft,
you promised.
You promised.
You promised us.
You have till June.
You said we would go to Disney World.
You said Todd was going to take us to Disney World. And Todd thinks he's taking us to Disney World. Now, do you think Todd has the money to take us to Disney World? Is the real question. So, we shall see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot to say about a video game that I'm just kind of mid about. It's also the only thing I can speak about that I've played a lot of. So that's it. That's all I got. What else do you got?
Okay, so I'll do one. I have two things that I did. Okay. First, I mentioned this a little bit. I mentioned it during our takeout and just a few times ever. But I got caught rereading all of JoJo. Oh, nice. Where you at? It was one of those things. You ever get that thing where you're like, I need to fact check something. I'm gonna go check the manga real quick. Yes. And then you just keep going, and then I'm caught up now. So you're caught up in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Not quite. I am. Okay. I am partway through part 5, and the Viz app does not have everything. It's not finished with part 6 yet. Okay. So I think they're still doing weekly releases of part 6, in which I hope leads immediately into weekly releases of part 7, or else we'll never get caught up and we'll be trapped here forever. No, we live here forever now. It is fascinating to read a manga that has lasted for this long. Right. In a week, in a chunk format like this, in the span of a couple weeks. Right. Getting caught up on 40 years of manga. I mean, it's impressive that how many chapters does JoJo's have? Well, the Viz app breaks it up into parts. Oh, so it's hard. But part 1 and 2 were very short, relatively. Let me just check real quick, because they're all still listed. I wonder if Google says. I wonder if you can just Google how many chapters does JoJo's Bizarre Adventure have. Part 1 was 44, 60. It's 100, 200, 300, 400, 5. About. I would say about 600-700, and then he switched to monthly. Okay. So yeah, because he switched to monthly midway through part 7, and then all of part 8 was monthly. Okay, that's not so bad. Yeah. Yeah. Google says about 900 actually. Yeah, and that's he's also between parts he would take a break to plan the next one. So it's not like trying to get caught up in One Piece. Really. No, which has been consistently one a week for 30 years. Correct. But no, that's still interesting to bulk read something that was running for 40 years. And you see his art style completely evolve from start to finish. His writing style shift, the way he treats characters and whatnot, and it is oddly fascinating just to see how characters looked back then and how they look when he draws them now. And by fascinating, I mean I hate it. I hate Araki's slender, pretty boy, art, like Japanese model art style now.
Sure.
I miss the big, beefy, burly men.
When he was just
like
blatantly cribbing from Fist of the North Star.
Like he draws Jonathan now, and he's like this svelte 5'7" posh British gentleman.
I mean, that's what he is, Ben.
But no, in part one, the whole thing is that Jonathan is 8 feet tall and weighs 300 pounds, and that's all muscle. Like there's a scene where he's playing rugby, and he has like 6 guys trying to pin him down, and he's still walking through it.
Sure, because he's so huge.
Yeah, like he meets Arena, and he's like, oh my god, he's gigantic.
I need him now.
What the hell is up with this? Like the whole thing is like, and then like the part thing with Jotaro in part 3 is that like he's this thuggish 16-year-old Japanese student, but he's this half British, half Japanese student who inherited the Joestar Bara genes, and now he's this lumbering freak that no wonder why he keeps trying to he puts himself in jail because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. If he bumps into the average Japanese person, they're going to go flying through a window.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Now he just looks normal.
He's all thin and he lost all his muscle.
He lost all his muscle because he got hit by the Iraqi new art style ray gun. Like
part 3 Jotaro and part 6 Jotaro are completely different characters.
Yeah.
Like it's fine for like the protagonists from like 4 onward because like they were always drawn like skinny. But like when Araki goes back and redraws old characters.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not even necessarily like Araki's new art style, because I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's just that like it's when he goes back and redraws those characters in his new art style, it's like, please don't.
Yeah, it's like, no, well, you know how muscles work. Please give them back. He needs them.
Do not consign Jonathan's muscles to history, please.
Yeah. It is also hilarious how like part 1 is like this very eloquent, almost Shakespearean prose. You know, characters are all very, very dramatic because it's set in England in the 1800s. Everyone's very posh and elegant and dramatic, and the fainting couch.
Sure, of course. This is 1800s England, where everybody is very,
where manners
erudite.
Mean everything.
Yeah, erudite, absolutely.
And then every subsequent Joestar is either a thug, delinquent, or criminal,
or all 3. Yeah. Great. I'm sorry, Jonathan. Your bloodline is a bunch of shitheads.
There's a part in part 3 where like they know the stand user is in this bar somewhere, like the enemy that's stalking them. They're like, we don't know who the stand owner is. Let's just beat the shit out of everyone in the bar.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, no, it's great. And then you get to see Jonathan up in heaven crying, like, no,
like my grandson, not like this. My great grandson, not like this.
It's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, no changes. No. 10 out of 10.
Part 4 is still the best part because it is just Persona 4, but jacked up to the point where everyone is crazy.
Correct. That sounds great.
I've got someone posted about it on Twitter, so some people were talking about it, but it's talking about the scene where Josuke finds out that aliens are real, befriends a shape-shifting alien, and immediately uses it to try to scam Rohan out of money.
Yes, that's correct.
And then Rohan
Again, 10 out of 10, no notes.
Rohan is so determined to prove that Josuke is cheating at dice that he lets his house burn down. and then like in the next story arc, Josuke runs into Rohan on the bus and he's like, "Hey man, no hard feelings about your house burning down, right?" And Rohan's like, "Yes, all I lost was original furniture from the set of Pretty Women costing about $200 million. But I'm not mad or anything.
The most not mad character who's ever lived.
Rohan canonically has almost died twice because his friends don't believe him when he's in trouble.
Great. Oh, great. Fantastic.
It's great. I love part 4. So that's going well. I am disappointed that that's only partway through part 6 because I really wanted to read part 7. This is I was leading to, I can't wait till I get to part 7 because that's my second favorite part.
Right.
But hopefully they'll finish up because I can also watch the anime and get caught up on that. I've been meaning to watch Stone Ocean, the anime. But more important than that,
yes,
Sarah, let me tell you about Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes, Ben, telling me about Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush is the best character action game since DMC5.
Fantastic. Of course it is. It's made by Shinji Mikami.
It is just God. I'm going to be fair and say it's just underneath 5.
Okay.
It's better than every other DMC though.
Great. Fantastic. Yeah. I love to hear it.
This is a phenomenal game, which if anyone's listening that doesn't know, was stealth released.
Yeah.
Out of fucking nowhere. Bethesda did a conference. It's on the docket, but they're like, yeah, here's this game. It's out.
It's out now. What?
What? What? Huh? What? Huh? By Shinji Mikami. What?
What?
What? What are you? What?
Sure. Yeah. No.
So is it like a little demo? Full game. It's $30. Get it now.
What? And if you have Game Pass, it's just on Game Pass.
What?
Okay, sure.
It is a absolutely incredible character action game with all of the style and panache of a show on Cartoon Network from 2005 that was produced in Canada.
Wow, that is so evocative.
Right?
Truly every frame a painting. Every single word paints a picture.
If you take, what was it, fucking Stormhawks, I think it was called?
Sure.
If you take Stormhawks and you take Ben 10 and you take Generator Rex, you throw them in a blender with all of your Blink-182 CDs and Green Day CDs and Fall Out Boy CDs, and you pour 4 monsters into that blender and you hit puree, you get Hi-Fi Rush.
It's truly the video game version of that one guy on TikTok who just mixes several gallons of alcohol together but won't drink it.
Right. If anyone doesn't know, it is a rhythm-based character action game where everything in the game is to the beat. Everything.
Oh,
the character's footsteps when you're running are to the beat. His idle animation is him snapping his finger to the beat.
That's great.
The tree branches are bouncing to the beat. The exhaust vents are pumping out steam to the beat. The moving platforms are to the beat.
That's awesome. I love that.
Everything is to the beat.
So does that include? Is combat based around staying on pace, on rhythm?
So here's the cool thing: your actions and the enemy actions are on the beat no matter what. So when you press the attack button, it'll come out on the beat.
That's interesting.
You get a damage bonus if you time it correctly.
Okay.
But no matter what, your attack comes out on the beat.
That is very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Incredible. And it's so well, the game opens and it's like, here's the mechanic, here's the system, here's how it works. If you're not good at keeping the beat, if you're not good at listening to the music and picking that out, like I said, everything is bouncing to the beat. You can use visual cues. You can set the window for your timing. Like the game's difficulty adjusts the timing of your input. So like you have a much higher window if it's on easier. It's really tight if it's on lower. It has all these visual elements for it, and like I said, you don't have to hit the beat. It just helps you if you do.
Yeah, that's awesome because that's kind of like a thing that I think is scared a lot of people. Like I've heard a lot of people saying like, well, I'm not very good at rhythm games, but it's like, well, you don't actually have to like conform to the rhythm part. Like if you just want to do the action part, like you get, obviously it helps to do the rhythm part. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. Like all the tutorials are very player friendly and they're like, here's how you do it. We're going to let you practice it for a little bit. When you're ready, you can move on.
Sure.
You know, here and if you can't do it, here's what we can adjust for you so that you can do it easier.
That's awesome.
It plays phenomenally. There are so many combos and abilities that you unlock as you progress. I already have Nero's Devilbringer. I have Royal Guard. I've already been able to do a round trip.
Oh shit.
Like I keep playing this and I'm like, Capcom needs to take notes.
Shit. I guess I'll have to pick it up. So did you get, so what did you get it on?
PC.
Did you get it through Game Pass or?
No, just through Steam.
Okay, so you can just buy it through Steam. It's not Game Pass exclusive. Okay.
Right, yeah, it's just on Steam. It's on Steam and Xbox.
Okay, okay.
It does something that I think is really, really cool, and I kind of want DMC to do this too.
What's that?
Which is, so, you know, it has a style meter, it has a combo meter that you're trying to build up. But you don't have a projectile at first. Like, you don't have a gun or anything.
Right.
You unlock that eventually, and your gun is an assist.
Okay.
So you press the shoulder button, and you call down your partner, and she shoots off a couple rounds.
Oh, that's fun. Okay.
And then she has like a recharge meter before you can call her in again. Okay. But she's also, what her purpose is not only to keep the rhythm going, to keep the combo going, you know, to do some stun or do some damage. She's designed to take down barriers.
Okay.
It's like an enemy has an energy shield. You call her to shoot that energy shield down so you can keep comboing.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
It's super cool.
Yeah, I need a cop. I'm gonna have to grab this one.
You absolutely need to grab this one.
I'm gonna have to grab this one. Yeah.
This is so far up your alley. Like, it's
absolutely.
It is like one of the most perfect character action games I've ever played. And it's super substantial. There's so much game in it. I've been playing it for a couple hours and like I feel like I barely even started it.
Yeah, like it's like a full video game for like $30. Like it's like a real deal. Like
11, 12 hours being generous. Like if you want to actually walk around and explore, like do a proper playthrough. And then, you know, you do it on a higher difficulty. You do it with this and that. Absolutely incredible visuals.
Oh, it looks great. Yeah.
I am blown away by these cutscenes.
Oh, it looks incredible. I've seen the cutscenes and stuff on Twitter, and I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah. The main character, Chai, his facial expressions are top notch. And it just popped out of nowhere. Yeah, just like here it is.
To me, that's the most insane part, is that it's like, there's this game from Tango Gameworks out now, and it's just like, oh, well, they just made a Devil May Cry, like, for fun overnight. Not overnight, but you know what I mean, like released out of nowhere.
Yeah. The main character is voiced by Robbie Daymond.
Okay. Oh, good. So that's Goro Akechi. That's good.
Yeah. And his partner, his name is Chai, her name is Peppermint.
Cute.
She is Kira Buckland.
Cute. Okay,
so
that's
it's fun. Goro and Futaba.
That's awesome.
It is Goro by way of Ryuji teaming up with Futaba.
Awesome.
Because he is just a straight up dumbass.
Just a complete moron. Oh, good for him.
Just an absolute imbecile. Just an absolute perfect Cartoon Network protagonist imbecile.
Sure, exactly. The moron you need to be your hero. Yeah, of course. Great.
Yeah, I adore it. All I want to do is keep playing it.
Sure, absolutely.
It feels so good. You just get into it. The rhythm, like my head is bouncing along with it, and I'm just like the music.
It's just good and fun. Yeah, absolutely.
All the boss battles are licensed tracks.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Like, and I'm talking like the first fight is 9 Inch Nails.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh fuck me. Okay. God damn it. Fine. Yes, I'll grab Hi-Fi Rush.
And they also do have a streamer mode, and like even the streamer mode tracks are fucking bangers.
Great. Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's crazy to me how much like people are just talking about this one. It's been a hit too. Like it's been a huge hit, like a surprise hit for Microsoft. They just like stealth dropped it and it has sold great. Like it's totally blown everybody's expectations out of the water at Tango apparently. So that's awesome.
Like you ever play a game and you're like 15 minutes in, you're like, I want 3 sequels in a movie. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I get it.
Like, I'm going to hit credits and be like, okay, Hi-Fi Rush 2, where?
Now I need a sequel. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the thing that blows me away and like is like the sheer number of times the game is like, we got you. Don't worry. We want you to have fun.
Right.
And if you're not musically inclined or if you're not rhythmically inclined, don't worry. We designed the game so that you too can still feel really cool.
Yeah, you can still have fun and play along. Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. That's absolutely what I want to hear. That's fantastic. Fine, I will grab Hi-Fi Rush and we can talk about it some more.
Yes, good.
Once I get paid, I promise.
I think you're going to love it.
I'm looking forward to it.
In fact, I'm pretty sure you're going to love it just because like I keep seeing characters and I'm like, Sarah's going to love this character.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
There also is an Oates character.
Fantastic.
Who is just the head of R&D is a Dorito-shaped wrestler woman who yells everything she says.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, then. Let's talk about news.
Hit me, Ben. I don't even know what the news looks like this week.
It's dire for a big chunk, but then it gets better.
Okay, great.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R reveals Rudolph von Stroheim as new DLC character.
Okay.
That's right. You can now play as everyone's favorite German soldier.
Legally distinct German soldier.
You know that character from part 2 who set in the 1930s who was a soldier.
A soldier from Germany. I was literally about to ask you. I was like, Ben, when is part 2 set? Oh no, I see.
It is really nice to have immediate advantage over all Rudolph players. Because they have to spend the entire match shaking their head and frowning every time he says something.
I don't agree with that at all. Nope.
It's like, or you can psych them up by going, oh, you play as Rudolph. What made you pick Rudolph?
Why are you picking, you want to explain why you're picking Rudolph?
There's a bunch of other part 2 characters. Oh, I'm just curious. What drew you to Rudolph von Stroheim from part 2 JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Battle Tendency? What part of that character is the part that appeals to you the most?
Is there something about that character that, I don't know, compels you? And then suddenly they have to spend the rest of the match denying.
And they're like, I just think his hairstyle fun. Oh, Polnareff is right there. I noticed you passed Polnareff on the character select screen.
You went right to pick Stroheim instead. Curious.
Oh, you didn't want to play as a Ripple user or a stand user. Oh, well, Speedwagon's right there. You kind of I don't know if you noticed, but Speedwagon is in this game. I'm just really curious.
And then they spend the whole fight on the back foot. And you can, and then that's how you win. That's actually the pro strat.
or you'd be like, you don't really want the Stroheim to win this fight, do you? You don't think he deserves to win this fight over this Japanese person?
I feel that's really saying something if you want Stroheim to win over, say, Avdol or something.
Yeah, I think. I'm just asking questions.
That's gonna be the Miss Strat at Evo when JoJo's Bizarre Adventure gets into Evo. Is to just ask the Stroheim player uncomfortable questions and then win the match.
Can you imagine top 8 and Stroheim is in top 8? the best All-Star Battle character or player in the world mains Stroheim.
Oh no! Oh no!
Like, does it become a point of pride for like the Part 3 Joseph player to like, you know, claim that victory even more?
Yes. Absolutely.
Just asking questions about your preference for character.
I'm just wondering why you want to pick the German guy from the 1930s as your main in JoJo.
The soldier.
Mm-hmm. The completely generic German soldier from the 1930s. Don't worry about it.
I've always wondered, like, for like fighting game, like FGC people who are like pros, like when a new game drops and it's not like a sequel to like an existing franchise, like when a new franchise comes out, do they look at the character roster and decide like this character design looks really cool or like their backstory is interesting? Or do they look at them purely as, like, mechanics? Like, where is the grappler? Where is the charge character? Like, I have to wonder. I've always wondered about that. And Stroheim getting in the game makes me wonder about that even more.
Yeah, right?
I'm just curious, that's all.
I'm just curious. It's a mystery.
Yeah. Next, Disney fans are selling Splash Mountain water after ride closes.
Can we go back to the gamer girl bath water instead? That actually might be less pathetic than this.
Yeah. So, like, I saw this, and at first I was like, oh, are they like tearing it down? No, they're rebranding Splash Mountain to a Princess and the Frog ride.
Oh, so they're taking out all the racist shit from the Splash Mountain ride. I see.
They're doing the thing that Disney World does all the time, which is rebrand a ride to something different because the old one is outdated now.
Yeah, like, the thing is that it's kind of insane that Splash Mountain lasted in its unaltered form for as long as it did, because those characters are just straight up from, like, old racist Disney cartoons.
They're from, like, Song of the South and shit.
They're from Song of the South and shit. Yeah. Like, it's 2023. This should have happened 20 years ago.
Right.
It's insane to me that Splash Mountain was allowed to just kind of exist unaltered at Disney World, even in Florida, you know.
Right,
the nation's asshole. It was still allowed to exist the way it existed for so long, right?
Right.
Like, it's incredible to me.
And the thing that obviously Disney adults are insane, right?
Of course, they're
crazy people. 100%. Of course, they're going to sell this stuff. But this is so baffling because the ride isn't going anywhere.
No, they're just rebranding it.
They're just rebranding it. Like, the plumbing still exists.
All of that, the Splash Mountain water is still going to smell the same. I know what you're doing.
The same bacteria is going to be in it.
There's so much water, there's so much chlorine in that water that it may as well just be all chlorine, right? Like, I know why it smells that way. And listen, you can go down to Pirates of the Caribbean and get that same water. It's fine. Yeah, and it's still going to smell that way when it reopens and is like, I don't know, the Princess and the Frog Splash Extravaganza or whatever.
Right, yeah. Like, they're not tearing out the plumbing and replacing all that. Like, it's still a water ride. If you were like, oh, I got the head of this racist crow animatronic, I'm going to sell that. That I get. Well, not really, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Interesting that you want somebody to maintain the racist crow head, Ben. I'm just asking questions, Benjamin.
No, when I get All-Star Battle, I'm going to main, like, Polnareff and, like, Josuke. I'm not kidding. I'm going to stick my nose up at Stroheim. I won't even deign him to download onto my console.
Lest your console become tainted with generic 1930s German soldier.
But like, I get like, you know, we have a sign from Splash Mountain, or like we have like a, you know, a thing like that. Cause like, you know, my dad and my uncles, my grandpa are all big Tigers fans. Like, you know, obviously we're from Michigan. Like they're obsessed with the Detroit Tigers. So like when Tiger Stadium was torn down and replaced with Comerica Park, like it was like, okay, well, we're tearing down the stadium and moving it to a new location, right?
Sure.
So they went and they bought seats from Tiger Stadium, and they got film canisters and actually picked up gravel from home plate.
Sure.
And kept it because, like, well, yeah, that stuff's not going to go anywhere. You know, that's going to be gone. That's going to be removed, and like it won't be repurposed for anything.
Right. It's physically, like, the location is physically gone.
Yeah. This is just the same thing that Disney does all the time.
Right.
They're just rebranding the ride. Mm-hmm. But Disney adults are insane.
And the insane thing to me is that, like, the rebrand is probably not even going to be that extensive because, like, the Splash Mountain ride and Princess and the Frog are set in the same place. They're both set in the South. Like, they're probably just going to replace a bunch of the old, like, animatronics. And that's kind of all you gotta do.
You just gotta change some of the, like, the signs and like the characters. And that's about it.
I would actually be surprised. So, like, the big thing about Splash Mountain is that you go up the hill and then the mountain splashes you down into the Briar Patch, right? Mm-hmm. Because the whole thing is that it's Brer Rabbit running away from foxes, and he loses them in a Briar Patch.
Right.
There's like a 200% chance they don't even get rid of the Briar Patch. And like it's gonna be functionally almost the exact same ride, except for a handful of branding things that probably, like I said, should have happened a long time ago. But because, like, culture has become so atomized at this point, like, even like 20 years ago, changing the fucking Splash Mountain ride to Princess and the Frog. I mean, Princess and the Frog didn't exist 20 years ago, but you know what I'm saying.
But I get what you're saying, yeah.
20 years ago, nobody would have cared. They would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sure. Yeah. But like now, of course, like culture has become so totally atomized about like everything having to be a fucking, you know, battleground that like Disney freaks have to think of this as some sort of, you know, they're coming for our childhood, which like, no, they're not. And also, why are you spending this much money on a park so routinely, right? Mm-hmm. Grow up. Like, I like Disney World. Obviously, I lived in Florida for a while. I went to Disney World pretty routinely. I like Disney World, but like, there's a difference between just like liking Disney World and wanting to go to Disney World every now and then. And frankly, these days, Disney World is too expensive for any normal human being to go to. You have to be a Disney adult who's like obsessed with it, or you're like taking your kid on a once in a lifetime vacation, right?
Right.
Like, otherwise, Disney World is too packed and too expensive to enjoyably go, you know?
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me. It's Disney adults are insane, like you said.
Yeah, no, it's just it's such a nothing situation that people are now
inflated in something.
They're now freaking out and having to harvest the precious water.
Even though the water is not going to be different at all.
The one thing that's going to be exactly the same as it's always been.
Yeah, no, they're not going to, you know, inject, like, I don't know. Do you think they're going to inject woke virus into the fucking Princess and the Frog water? Like, one, no, that doesn't exist. And two, they're going to vaccinate the water. They're going to put COVID vaccines in the Splash Mountain water, and
they're turning the frogs vaccinated.
They are quite literally making the frogs vaccinated. Yes, the two of them that are in that movie. Correct. Oh god, stupid ass movie. Stupid ass Disney adults. Next.
Yeah. Next, Overwatch 2 shuts down in China, leaving OWL teams in limbo. Uh-oh.
Who cares? So this is all tied to, like, you know, government regulation stuff over in China. Mm-hmm. At least as far as I can tell. And it's just generally just funny to me because I like seeing Blizzard suffer, you know? Like, they just locked themselves out of a huge market.
Yeah, to be clear, this is not because of the controversy with the deal.
No.
Quote from the article, Overwatch 2 and other Blizzard titles have officially been taken offline in China after a failed contract extension with NetEase, leaving Overwatch League teams based there in limbo now that the game is unplayable in the country. So it's just, we forgot to renew the contract. Oops.
Oopsie. Well, now you're super fucked.
Yeah. Which I'm sure is not looking good for them with this Blizzard, with this Activision Blizzard deal.
With this Activision Blizzard deal effectively being in limbo now for what is probably going to be the next couple of years, because of like legal shit going on, right? Yeah. And like the Chinese market is a huge market for Blizzard, yes. And they've essentially just like shot themselves. They've just shot it. Yeah.
So, you know.
Oops. But you love to see them suffer, so who cares?
Yeah, it's great. Next, Panic at the Disco announced Split. It's been a hell of a journey.
Panic at the Disco is just one guy.
I have a question. Split from who?
Did they just... Just as King Solo Man split the Gordian baby in twain, so too shall we split Brendon Urie in half. Thank God, we're finally free.
Like, why is Split retired? Brendon Urie retires.
I don't know. It's so weird to... You know what? Good for him. He finally cut himself in half, and maybe now we can stop hearing all of the worst songs from his most recent album, and can just listen to the good old Panic at the Disco music instead, please.
Yeah. Look. He swore to shake it up if we swore to listen, and we listened, so...
I guess he's shaking it up now and finally retiring to hang out with his family, so good for him. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like... Who did he split from? Everyone's gone! He split from him. He split from himself, Ben. Did he stab himself with the Yamato? He stabbed himself with the Yamato, yes. And now there's a guy running around just named Yu, obviously. Brendon Uriezen. Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's great. Oh, fuck, do not ask me to Photoshop that after this episode. No. I won't do it. No. I refuse, otherwise I quit. Oh, God. No, but I think that might be the title. That works. Oh, God. All right, what else? Marvel's Avengers is ending development, giving away cosmetics. Oh. Finally, we're free. We're finally free from the bad game. And of course, my favorite thing is that once they announce that it's shutting down, you immediately get freaks on Twitter who are like, actually, it was the best one. Shut up. No, it was not. It was not. Do you know, are you aware of how little content they ended up putting out for this? Like, it was not much. There's nothing in that video game. The final roster of the Avengers game is pathetic. Like, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up because still Mix Avengers. I bet it's roster. Like if it was so good, while you look that up, if it was so good, then why weren't you playing it, dude? Yeah. Why wasn't anybody playing Marvel's Avengers? There's a reason they shut it down. And that's because that shit was dead. Okay, so here's a list of characters in their game that, like, when they announced, is like, we're gonna throw in every single Marvel character. Miss Marvel, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Thor. That's it. Is that it? Is that it? That's it. That's it? 11? I think... did She-Hulk get added? Did they add She-Hulk to make it at least an even 12? You know what? Let me check this here. I don't remember hearing about She-Hulk. No, the last playable character was Jane Foster Thor. Amazing. Fantastic. So 11 characters. Wait, did they not even get to adding Bucky? I don't think they got to adding Winter Soldier. No, they literally, like, 11 characters. And four of them are the same character twice. Great. Amazing.
2 Thors and 2 Hawkeyes.
2 Thors and 2 Hawkeyes. The 2 things that nobody was asking for 2 of. Ever.
That's it.
That's amazing.
Midnight Suns has a more involved roster.
That's
the
incredible.
Fucking XCOM card-based XCOM ripoff game has a more fleshed out roster with more interesting characters than this.
The fucking mobile game, the mobile card game, Marvel Snap or whatever the fuck it's called, has more characters than the $60 billion game.
I've seen people who are not even interested in Marvel being like, Marvel Snap is really fun.
I keep hearing that. I'm actually stunned.
Like, Pat Boivin is plays Marvel Snap, and he doesn't give a shit about superheroes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm almost like, well, maybe I should, take a look at it.
Maybe you should play Marvel Snap. Who knows?
But no, this is just, an absolutely pathetic roster, and it's just, the fact that it limped along for 2.5 years.
Is stunning. I know.
But now we're finally free, and now we can just have Spider-Man 2 come out and not have any sort of thing stuck to its leg.
No fucking albatross around its neck. Yeah.
Nothing holding it back.
Thank God.
Next, Adult Swim cuts ties with Rick and Morty's Justin Roiland following domestic abuse charges.
Womp womp. Well.
Jeez,
Rick. I don't know how. Jeez, Rick. I don't know how we're gonna replace this one. Everybody on the internet has a Justin Roiland impression. Yeah. Just hire one of them.
I turned myself into a domestic abuser, Morty. I'm domestic abuse Rick.
Oh fuck. Oh, it's so fucked up. It's an extremely fucked up story, but it is very funny that apparently Justin Roiland hasn't been a writer for Rick and Morty for a long time. So and everyone's you know how the most recent seasons of Rick and Morty have been pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's well, that's actually because they finally added some women to the writers' room.
They there are allegedly. Allegedly. They had to literally chase Justin Roiland out of the writer's room for certain episodes because he was so bad at it.
Great.
The stuff he kept trying to push was just so bad they didn't want to do it, and they had to get him out of the room.
Just chase him out with a gun. Be no, go away.
So, yeah. I mean, I am glad that the fuck-ups of this one asshole didn't cost an entire studio their job.
Sure, yeah, of course. I'm extremely glad for that, yeah.
Yeah. I also think it is hilarious that you can cut out the guy who voices the titular characters and not affect production.
No, they will find a way to replace him ASAP. I mean, I don't watch Rick and Morty, but that's a story about multiverse shit, right?
Yeah.
So whatever.
In the first cold open for the first episode of the season is be oh yeah, my voice descrambulator broke, and now we just sound like this forever. And
now I have a new voice actor who isn't a fucking monster. Yeah. Easy.
We're oh, who's it gonna be? It could be anyone. It doesn't matter.
It could literally be anyone. The funniest option is of course whoever the fuck plays Peter Griffin. But then
Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah. But then it's fine.
Just get whatever. The voices were distinct because they were voiced by Justin Roiland. They didn't have a specific accent or an inflection that can't be imitated, Mm-hmm. It was because Justin Roiland has one of two voices and he did both of them for those characters.
Yeah, so whatever, just replace Roiland. It is funny that they also, the High on Life developers were also well, we're out. And it's oh no, you also just lost the only gimmick for your bad video game. Oh well.
Oh, I guess we're not getting High on Life too. Oh no.
Oh no, anyways, it's one of those. Mm-hmm. Oh
just get a what's his name? The guy who did the Australian Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll turn my portal gun into a real gun, Morty.
Just make the whole show Australian now. I love that plan, actually.
Just give it. It's Michael Cusack. That's it. Just give it to Michael Cusack.
Yeah. What else?
Speaking of Adult Swim revives fan favorite series with new season.
What? Oh,
Aqua Teen can't never be canceled.
Aqua Teen ain't ever gonna die, bitch.
Aqua Teen gonna live forever.
Even if Aqua Teen Hunger Force season 12 is only 4 episodes, Aqua Teen lives forever.
That's 4 more episodes than Aqua Teen Hunger Force got.
That's correct. And you know what? Good. Let it live forever. Make each of them an hour long.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Good. I hope they keep doing this. I hope it just trundles along happily forever, being Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
I hope every 3 years Aqua Teen Hunger Force gets 4 new episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
How long is the 13th season of Aqua Teen? 5 years. We get an episode a year.
We did it. Yeah, exactly. I love that plan. Just like
whenever you can get Dave Willis, Dana Snyder, and Carrie Means in the same room, just film an episode of Aqua Teen out of it.
Yeah, just do an episode of them shooting the shit. Like, just literally anytime they're at a con together, just fucking record what they're saying at the con and turn it into an episode.
Everyone goes to Dana Snyder's hotel room, they get a mic out, and they just talk.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, that's a time-honored tradition, and I don't think Aqua Teen Hunger Force is too good for that.
Oh, it's not even close to being too good for that. It's worse than that.
Absolutely not. No, 100%.
God, I'm so happy. I love this.
It's the funniest possible release schedule for a show to just be like, I know it's been a few years, but it's fine. Here's another one.
They did just put out that movie.
They did just put out that movie. That's true.
So they were probably like going to roll that momentum and just make a handful of more episodes.
Sure, why not?
Fucking do it. Just keep trundling out episodes of Aqua Teen whenever you fucking want.
Just pay Frylock more money this time.
Yeah,
that's
give
all
him royalties.
We ask.
Give Carrie Means royalties.
Give Carrie Means some royalties, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Next, Xbox Bethesda Developer Direct. Everything announced. It was not too big besides the stealth launch of one of the best character action games of all time.
You know, it's fine. The one thing to remark on, since we were talking about it earlier, though, boy, Starfield sure wasn't there, huh?
No, it was definitely not there.
Boy, Starfield sure wasn't at that Bethesda Developer Direct.
Now, they said they want to give Starfield its own show. So, okay.
I'm pressing X to doubt as hard as I physically can.
I'll believe you on that one.
Sure.
But you'd better actually announce a date for the Starfield conference.
Microsoft, do you have a date for Starfield now? No? Then get back in there and make one.
Then get back in the mines, Bethesda.
Just cocking a gun at Todd. Like, get back in there. You're not done yet.
But what did they show off? They showed off some more Redfall. It looks like Redfall.
Sure. I might play it. I've got live service game brainworms now, so maybe.
Minecraft Legends was shown off. Forza Motorsport. It was just like, here's some more stuff that we've already been working on. They're pulling an FF14 with Elder Scrolls Online and just making all the early stuff like a free trial.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I mean, like, Elder Scrolls Online is a perfectly serviceable MMO by all accounts. Like, I know plenty of people who play it. If you're like an Elder Scrolls, if you like that aesthetic, then like Elder Scrolls Online is a perfectly fine way to play like an Elder Scrolls game, right? So.
But yeah, that was it. Just a little couple things here and there. And obviously the big thing is Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, no, the two big things are Hi-Fi Rush. Honestly, the biggest thing about the Bethesda Direct is that, like, there wasn't Starfield, right? Like, that's the biggest thing, is that it's like, okay, it's Bethesda, where's Starfield? And they're like, later. And it's like, it better be later, you fox.
You better be right.
Show me my fucking space game, Todd.
Just show me anything. Show me a companion. Show me an alien.
Show me a single alien, Todd. One blue titty is all I'm asking for.
Do you think they're gonna have hot alien chicks?
No, I don't think they're gonna have hot alien. I'm actually pretty. I am still pretty sure it's not gonna have like it's gonna have aliens, but it's gonna be like alien monsters. It's not gonna be like people aliens. You know what I mean? I think it's just gonna be a bunch of like alien species and stuff to fight.
I think we are. So there's two possible routes this can go. Mm-hmm. One is there are aliens and the equivalent of ghouls, where it's like, here is a person, but they have forehead ridges and their skin is green.
Oh, Star Trek aliens then. Yeah, okay.
But they're not playable.
Right.
And everyone gets mad because I want to be an alien.
Sure.
Just like everyone's like, I want to be a ghoul. You know. The other option is that there are no alien humans in the game until the second DLC expansion.
Okay.
Which introduces an enemy type that are aliens.
And they're just the Zedans from Fallout. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
They aren't human-based characters, but they are humanoid aliens with tech. You know?
Right, yeah,
like instead of like creatures. So it's like, this is a thing that holds a gun and has 2 legs and 2 arms, but it's not a human.
But it's not a human, and it doesn't speak human, and it's just an enemy type. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are your options.
That's what. Yeah, I think it's going to be the second one, honestly. Just because like everything from those trailers seems to imply like a very kind of, not exactly Cowboy Bebop, but you know how there's like no aliens in Cowboy Bebop,
like a more subdued sci-fi.
Sure.
Thing.
Yeah, absolutely. High sci-fi or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Next, Kadabra will finally return to Pokemon card game after 18-year ban.
Extremely funny story here because it's literally Uri Geller himself just being like, "Oh, sorry about that. You can use me. You can use my like." Because Uri Geller's whole thing is that he can bend spoons with his mind. Allegedly, he cannot. Right. He can't actually. You should listen to what's the fucking skeptic guy's name? I can't remember it right now. But the really cool skeptic guy who has like routinely disproven Uri Geller being a psychic. Anyways, Uri Geller's whole thing is that he could bend spoons. And I suppose he's finally like, oh, my bad. You can use the spoon bending thing. Very funny.
It is a little bit more understandable when you know what Kadabra's Japanese name is.
Which is?
Yungerer.
I see.
So it makes a little bit more sense.
That makes a little bit more sense, Nintendo. I thought it was just the spoon bending thing.
It was probably the thing that made him look at that and then like, wait a minute, what's its Japanese name?
Hold on a second, you can't do that. That's my name.
Quote from the article, Geller reportedly took special issue with the Team Rocket Kadabra card, which featured Evil Yungerer.
Well, you know. Oh, okay.
So here's a quote from him in 2000 when he first learned about this. I'm very angry about this, he told the BBC back in 2000. I wouldn't have given permission for an aggressive and in one case evil character to be based on me. This is not even anything to do with the old question of if I'm a magician or a real psychic. It's straight theft for my persona. Now, I don't think Kadabra is a specifically aggressive Pokemon. I don't think the Abra line is particularly aggressive in any way, so that's a little misinterpreting the character.
Sure.
But I do understand like the name similarity thing.
James Randi, that's the skeptic's name. Sorry, that just came to me out of nowhere. God rest his soul.
So yeah, he after 23 years, he was like, maybe I was a little bit too harsh.
Fine, you can use the Kadabra now.
Maybe Kadabra is not necessarily an evil Pokemon that is like trying to like make fun of me or treat me in a negative light.
Well, Uri Geller has always been a bitch, so...
Maybe he's just like a little monster guy.
He's just a little guy, Uri Geller. Calm down.
He's just a little guy with a big mustache.
And a spoon. Be nice to him.
Yeah. Kadabra has done nothing wrong. Next, Cowboy Bebop creator made it through one scene of the Netflix version.
Oh, this one's rough. I read this one. It's bad. It's extremely bad.
Oof.
Just the Minecraft or the Roblox oof.
Yeah.
On repeat for 6 hours. Like, as you read this, it's just like, oh no.
Quote from Watanabe himself: "It started with the scene in the casino, which made it very tough for me to continue. I stopped there and only saw that opening scene."
Ew, that's bad. Yeah. That whole interview is really good, though, because he talks about having to deal with American producers while working on the Animatrix, right? Because he did a story for the Animatrix. And like he had a really good producer, and then that producer either died or had some health problems. I can't remember which, but so he had to get a new producer, and this new producer was very like constantly asking for changes kind of guy, and he was like, you know, just trying to mitigate like dealing with American Hollywood producer types,
right?
And like how one of his colleagues was like. So Watanabe was trying to like work with this Hollywood producer, and you know he was trying to like work with him and reason with him, and apparently he found out that one of his colleagues was just like, "I quit," and then the producer freaked out because like he was supposed to get it done, and Watanabe was like, "I learned a very important lesson about working with American Hollywood producers after that story."
Ooh.
Yeah, extremely good.
I do love this quote afterward where he's like at the end of the interview where he's like, the value of the original anime is somehow far higher now.
Yeah, I can say the one good thing the Cowboy Bebop live action show did was make people interested in the Cowboy Bebop anime, so I suppose in that way it did its job.
Yeah.
You know?
Still.
Yikes.
Oof. All right, one more.
Hit me.
Like a Dragon Ishin will feature cameos by Kenny Omega and Raul Coley.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
So.
Why not?
For folks who might not know what those mean, Kenny Omega is an AEW wrestler who famously cosplayed as Sans Undertale during one of his shoots.
He also walked out in the Sans Undertale cosplay to save the world.
He hired Toby Fox to do an animation for his ring entrance.
It's extremely cool. You should go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. So, in Like a Dragon Ishin, you can get special abilities which are called Trooper cards. And they are like special combat abilities and whatnot. They are the essence moves, which in other Yakuza games, especially Yakuza 7, that I know of at least, are like your special moves, like essence of so-and-so or essence of whatever job you're in. Kenny Omega's is called Essence of the One-Wing Angel, and it is a very, very long horizontal slash with your katana.
Great. Oh, I love it. Sure, okay.
You know,
listen, I respect it.
Kenny Omega living every 12-year-old's childhood dream of
course.
Being the cool guy who can do Sephiroth's moves.
That's right. He gets to just be a Sephiroth in a video game now.
And that video game is Yakuza Ishin.
Great. Amazing. Good for him.
Just like he did a little interview about like, you know, about who he is and like the card and whatnot and like what he wants it to be. And it's like, it is funny because like the card, the art for the card is just him in like a, you know, samurai, you know, an outfit.
Sure, yeah.
Like,
I think he's wearing like an actual Shinsengumi outfit.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Like it's not Sephiroth themed at all.
Right.
It's just called Essence of One-Winged Angel.
He knows what he's about.
Which I'm assuming is just like them like nudging as close as they can get without actually having to say the name.
Right, yeah.
But no, great. Good for him.
Good for him. Unfortunately, I do not know who the other guy is or why he gets to be in Ishin, but good for him.
He is a British actor.
Okay.
That was in a couple of other things. And yeah, he is also a big fan of Yakuza, so he's like, oh boy, I get to be in Yakuza now.
That's so funny. Good for them.
He was in The Haunting of Bly Manor, iZombie, and Supergirl.
So,
good for him.
Good for him. Live your dream, buddy.
So yeah, that's it. That's all
that was
the
an
news
easy one.
We got. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a super, super easy one. Cool.
A lot of things shutting down.
A lot of things shutting down. Yes. Oh, well. I'm sure it's fine.
It'll be fine. Everything will be okay.
Everything's fine. Don't worry about it, folks.
So yeah, thank you to DJ Cutman for your background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sarah at radioinactivity. You can email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to Sarah's other podcast, you can listen to it.
Hey, I'm not currently in it because I'm on hiatus while they play a different game, but I am usually in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We cycle through different systems all of the time, so if we're playing something that really speaks to you now, come back in a few months and we might be playing something different. Right now, we're playing Henshin, which is exactly what you might think it is. It's a game where you play transforming heroes in the style of Kamen Rider.
Yeah!
This one sounds really fun. I hear people talking about it in the Discord and it sounds great. So yeah, come check it out. We're at Big Gay Nerds, wherever you get your podcasts and wherever you get your social media. Thanks.
All right. That'll do it for us.
What do you got?
I don't know. This is a tough one.
This is a tough one. This is a bad one. Fuck Disney adults.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Like I don't ever like disparaging someone for what they like.
Sure.
You know? But I will disparage someone for how they like something.
Sure, absolutely.
You know,
it's fine to like Disney World, but not to this degree.
Look, I get it if you're like a grown-ass adult and you get a little weepy at seeing Goofy in the costume because like something happened in your childhood that like made you really attached to this character.
Sure.
I get that. That's fine. You don't need to go every 6 months.
You don't need to go every 6 months. The freaks who were like sobbing when Disneyland had to shut down for a couple months because of like COVID, those people are lunatics, all of them. I'm sorry.
And even if you do want to go every 6 months, it's not a big deal if you have to miss it.
Yeah, no, you'll be okay. In fact, you should probably go less and spend your money on more useful things to society, like anything. Go buy some drugs. You know, that would probably be a better contribution to society than you going to Disney World for the 15th time. I'm just saying.
It can't be that different every time you go.
Right, no. And plus, these people are freaks who, wait in line for 6 hours for a unique popcorn bucket. So,
It's okay. You don't have to do that.
Do something better with your life. Do better. That's all I'm saying.
Do better. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.